Okay, we'll start. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Welcome back. We are almost near the end of Aranya Kanda. In a few chapters, will be done, which is a very, very significant journey. We started off all the way back a couple of years ago with the very first verses of Balakanda. And suddenly we are here now near the end of Aranya Kanda. So I want to express my genuine gratitude to all of you for being interested in Ramayana, for inspiring me to study and study, I guess, even more intently, and to stay along and sticking along for the journey and the ride. I hope sincerely that it has been meaningful to you. It has helped each one of us in our process of bhakti, our attraction to our spiritual masters, our deities, and in general a zest for performing our or continuing our life in an inspired way. So we're at the juncture where Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana are desperately searching for Sita Devi, and they have been going from one place to another, and Jatayu gave them an indication that Ravana has taken away Sita Devi. And so the deer in the forest, indicated by their glances and jumping in the southern direction, that Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana should head in the southern direction. So without really knowing where she is, they are hoping to get some additional clues and ideas of where she might be. And we are at that place where Ramachandra and Lakshmana, after taking care of Jatayu and sending him back to the spiritual world, they have been walking in the southern or the southwesterly direction. These two sons of Ikshvaku, descendants of Ikshvaku, with bows in hand, quivers full of arrows, very anxious and desperate eyes, looking for any clue for Sita Devi, are moving through very, very thick forests. They're at the edge of Dandaka forest. At the southern tip of Janasthan is where Dandaka forest, in general, is the entire area is called Dandaka, and within that there are smaller regions. And where Janasthan ends, they're entering another forest called Krauncha. So from Janasthan, they go about 6 miles, but 3/4 of a yojana, or 3 kroshas as it's discussed. And they are very, very deeply tormented inside because they can't find Sita Devi. So when they enter this very dreadful forest, very, very thick, dreadful because it's dark. The, the foliage has created such a very thick, what's that word? Something on top. I'm at a loss of words. Anyway, it's so dark because the canopy, the trees and branches have created such a heavy canopy that there's no sunlight on ground. And it is full of birds, animals, snakes, insects, and they're traversing through this forest, and they have come in the vicinity of sage Matanga's ashram. And the sage Matanga's ashram will play a role coming up very soon when they will meet Shabari. But before that, while they are traversing through the Crouch of Forest, they are looking through and they come to a very specific place where there is a massive cave and it looks very threatening. And suddenly from that cave appears a demoness with a very scary face. She, just by her presence, any person's heart would shatter with fear. She was horrible looking, big bellied, sharp toothed, very threatening look, disfigured face, and very tough skinned, like a pachyderm. Not smooth, angelic skin that is very attractive. And it seemed like she was eating animals because the fat from the animals, when she was staring through the meat, that fat was strewn all over her body. She was clumsy. And her hair was all scattered. And she appears in that stage in front of Ramachandra and Lakshmana, but her eyes are gazed on Lakshmana. And she tells Lakshmana, come, let's enjoy, you and me. And she grabbed Lakshmana's hand. And she was trying to embrace Lakshmana and said, my name is Ayomukhi. You are my new acquisition. And you seem very, very attractive. Oh, very valiant person. Enjoy with me in this entire area filled with mountains and beautiful rivers and the forest. For the rest of your life, you and I will live in this forest. Now, Lakshmana is on a mission. It was annoying that she grabbed his hand and is now decided that they should stay together. So Lakshmana took out a sword, cut off Ayomukhi's nose, ears, and breasts. And she was so shocked that she ran away from there, loudly yelling and shrieking. Then Ramachandra and Lakshmana further walked 2 more miles, or 1 krosha, as it said in Ramayana. And as they are walking through the thicket of this forest, they hear some rustling sound. You know, like in a forest, you hear dry leaves or some rustling sound. They thought it was some deer or some big animal moving. And before they realized, 2 hands just showed up. And one hand, the right hand, grabbed Ramachandra, the left hand grabbed Lakshmana, and suddenly was pulling them away. And they were surprised. Wow, we can see hands, but we don't see the body that's connected to the hands. So these 2 hands were pulling them, and almost a distance of 1 yojana. And suddenly they were face to face, technically not face to face, but proverbially, idiomatically face to face, with some creature that they had never seen anything like that before. This creature had no legs, only a torso. So from the neck up to the navel. Hands, that were 1 yojana, 8 miles long, massive body, but no head. And right in the middle of the torso was one gigantic eye and one huge mouth with sharp teeth. I mean, have you ever seen a mouth in the stomach? And they were shocked. He had sharp, bristled hair all over and was such a massive figure, like a mountain, resembling a dark cloud and a very deep voice like thunder. That eye was coppery red, almost fiery. And that mouth was smacking its lips because there's this fresh human meat ready to eat. And Ramachandra and Lakshmana were shocked. Like, wow, what kind of living being is this? And so Lakshmana suddenly feels that his life is almost come to an end. So he tells Ramachandra, I will somehow give up my life with this demon. You cut off his hands or hand and release yourself, and please go in search of Sita Devi. And please, Ramachandra, whenever you get the kingdom, you become the king, please remember me. Om Kruto Smara Kritam Smara. Please remember the service I have rendered to you. So Valmiki says that Lakshmana had childlike or boyish fear. So externally, it may seem that Lakshmana, how can he become afraid? But this boyishness or childlike is not to be understood as childishness. It is childlike. Childlike because of his innocence. For a moment, it said Lakshmana had forgotten how Sri Ramachandra easily, both of them actually easily killed Viradha. And they took care of him. At that time, there was no childlike or boyish anxiety. But this childlike is not to be understood as weakness of heart. Lakshmana is not weak in heart. The same Lakshmana was alone capable of killing Indrajit. So I'm going to go to that story for a moment and not all the details. But when Ravana was seeing that his army was being decimated by the two brothers and the hordes of monkeys, he was thinking, I should go into the fight. Then Indrajit told him, just relax, I'll take care of it. And Indrajit got the name, the title Indrajit because he defeated Indra. Actually, this was, the name came because once Ravana and his brothers and Indrajit had gone fighting the demigods. And the time came where Indrajit said to Ravana, I would take care of Indra as well. So Ravana said, okay, I'll leave the battle for the day. You take care of Indra. I'll come back tomorrow after some rest and we'll continue this fight. Before Ravana reached his camp and could sit down and relax, Indrajit also showed up there. So Ravana said to Indrajit, why have you come back so soon? He said, oh, I took care of Indra. He's defeated. We have done with the war. Ravana was shocked. Indra, who is the king of the demigods, defeated by you single-handedly? Yes, he was nothing. That Indrajit was defeated by Lakshmana. And everybody, the monkeys, the Rakshasas, even Ravana is shocked. How can one Lakshmana finish off Indrajit? So it's not considered that Lakshmana lost any courage in battle. It is out of his concern for his brother. Sometimes love takes over as an emotion takes over as one's sense of valiance. So then when Lakshmana spoke like that, Ramachandra said, "Oh, Lakshmana, you're a hero." And brought him back to that sense that both of them can take care of Kabandha. So very, very quickly, Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana drew their swords, and Ramachandra cut off Kabandha's right arm, and Lakshmana cut off Kabandha's left arm. As soon as his arms were cut off, Kabandha, who was also in serious pain, had a sense of exhilaration as well. He said, "Oh, who are you two? You are very, very special personalities. Please tell me, who are you?" So then Lakshmana said, "This is son of Dasaratha, Sri Ramachandra. I am his brother, Lakshmana. And Ramachandra's wife, Sita Devi, has been kidnapped by Ravana. And we are very furtively, desperately looking for her. So please help us." He said, "Oh, you, I've been waiting for you. I've been waiting for you because I was cursed that I will be in this hideous form until both of you come here. So let me tell you my story." And Kabandha said that in my previous form, I was very, very strong, great prowess, strength, and I was famous in the universe. What I used to do though, I don't know why, I used to take on a form of a Rakshasa, and that was just to terrify and frighten people. And I would go traveling here and there in the universe, scaring the sages. When I used to scare them, sometimes people prank others with scary pranks, I guess. So this guy also was something like that. And I once, while I was scaring many sages, I came across a sage by the name Sthula Shira. And I scared him. And that sage became very angry. And he said, "Oh, looks like you enjoy taking forms of a Rakshasa. So I curse you to become a Rakshasa and live in the forest of Dandaka and travel here and there eating animals, flesh in the forest." Suddenly, when I got cursed, it dawned upon me that I made a great mistake. So I fell at Tulashira Rishi's feet and said, "Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I made a big mistake. Is there a way you can relieve me of this curse?" And the sage said, "I cannot relieve you of the curse, but I can give you this much, that when Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana come through this forest, they can relieve you of it. And only when your arms are chopped off and your body is burnt or cremated, only then will you be released and you will regain your original handsome form." So Kabandha says, "Lakshmana, please understand, I am the son of a great demon called Danu. Now, after being cursed as a Rakshasa, I went and performed a lot of austerities to appease Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma granted me a boon of a very, very long life. I understood that very long life to be equal to immortality. So I thought I will never die. And because I became arrogant of this blessing of a very long life, I became so puffed up that I went and challenged Indra for a fight. I went and provoked him to fight with me. Indra got very angry, and to curb my pride, Indra threw his thunderbolt weapon at me. And that thunderbolt weapon was so strong that it cut off my legs and hit me on the head, and my head got pushed into my body, into my torso. And I begged him, "Oh, Indra, please send me to Yamaraj, because I cannot live like this. What is I have no legs. The head is gone into the body. I cannot live like this." So Lord Indra said, "Oh, you have been gifted by Lord Brahma for a very long life. I cannot violate that boon. So it'll remain like this." Then I asked Lord Indra, "How can I remain like this? I can't get any food. How can I eat?" So Indra then made my arms long up to 8 miles. He created a mouth in my stomach and one eye by which I can look for food. So I would then, with these long arms, grab lions, leopards, tigers, deer, anything that roamed in the forest, I would just hold and bring to my mouth and eat. Then Indra also said that when Sri Ramachandra and Lakshmana cut off your arms, that's when you can ascend to heaven. So all these years, thousands of years, I've been grabbing everything that I could get in my hand to check if it is both of you. And I've been waiting. So please, please, I cannot be killed by anyone else. So please, now that you've severed my arms, now please cremate my body. Only then I'll be able to be relieved of this. However, I will also give you some helpful information that will help you find Sita. So then Ramachandra and Lakshmana are thinking, well, this guy's a Rakshasa. If we cremate his body, what if he doesn't fulfill his promise of telling us the next clue? So should we even cremate him or first extract information? And there, Kabandha is saying or thinking, if I give away all the information right now, what if they don't cremate me and I will not be relieved of this situation? So each is waiting for the other to share information first or do their bidding first or get their bidding done first. The reason he got the name Kabandha is the word ka or the syllable ka means the body. It comes from the word kaya. Antah kale chamameva smaran mukta kalevaram. Kalevaram or kaya means body. And bandha means, technically torso is called kalevaram or kaya. And because he is restricted or bound within that torso, bandha, he got the name. That's what the meaning is, Kabandha. So it seems like from Acharya's commentaries that Ramachandra was suspicious whether Kabandha will fulfill his promise, and Kabandha was suspicious. Finally, because of Ramachandra's nature, Ramachandra acceded to do his bidding first, Kabandha's. Although this nature of Kabandha indicates a couple of things for us. One is that Kabandha represents a sense of gluttony. Gluttony is indiscriminate eating. So there is an eye and the stomach has a big mouth and long arms to grab anything and everything and feed it. Now, Rupa Goswami tells us, Udara upasthave, Udara vegam, that the urge to fill the belly by indiscriminately eating is one of the hurdles in which a person, or by which a person cannot become uh, a master of their senses. And the idea is, without sense control, one cannot progress in spiritual life. And Kabandha represents the sense of gluttony, indiscriminate eating, or uh, ingesting or taking on more than one can chew, biting more than one can chew. This is a kind of greed. And we understand from Bhagavad Gita that greed is a very, very big obstacle. Now, greed is far more pervasive. It's for things, it's for not being satisfied with whatever Krishna has given. That's greed. But gluttony is a subset of greed. That's one lesson. Another lesson is Kabandha has a very transactional relationship with the Supreme Lord. Transactional is, I do something for you and you do something for me in return. My spiritual master then says, Om Jai Jagadisha Hare. That's typical songs that you do something for me and I do something for you. And this kind of service is not really service, it's mostly transaction. But the process of bhakti is not about transaction, it's about relation. We want to serve the Supreme Lord in this consort for a relationship of service, not for things. What can you do for me? So when Kabandha said, Ramachandra said to Kabandha, you should be kind enough to help us. We are running around the forest with severely afflicted by grief. But he told Lakshmana, gather all the wood that you can find here, trees and tree stumps that have been broken by elephants, and let's create a pit for him. And they threw Kabandha's body into that hole, filled it with wood, and lit a fire. And as soon as the body started burning very nicely, without smoke from it, Kabandha rose in a very celestial body, full, very, very handsome looking, like how Nalakuvera and Manigriva were released from two Arjuna trees. And then the celestial looking effulgent bodies. Similarly, Kabandha was in a divine celestial form, bedecked with jewels and diamonds and all sorts of ornaments and very fragrant garlands, beautiful looking body, effulgent like anything. He rose from the fire, went into the sky, and said to Sri Ramachandra, oh, Sri Ramachandra, this is what I can tell you. Please go further south and go further south and make friends with the king of monkeys. He doesn't name Sugriva directly just yet. But once the cremation was over, he says, go south into Kishkindha and make friends with Sugriva. Sugriva is a very, very nice monkey, Vanara. He is in a similar condition as yours. His wife has been taken away. His kingdom has been taken away by his brother Vali. And he is living on top of Rishabmukha mountain with a few other Vanaras. You please meet Sugriva. And Sugriva is very intelligent. He's the son of Surya Dev. He knows every nook and cranny of the universe in very, very good detail. Because of certain circumstances in his life, he knows the universe very, very well. And he will be a very good friend for you. Please make friendship with him and meet Sugriva. So then in one of the verses, he says that there are 6 reasons or 6 ways in which you can achieve something in this world. One who is in difficulty needs the help of someone else. So there are 6 ways you can get it, and one of them is friendship. So I'll tell you what the 6 ways are. Our acharyas give us a commentary that if we want to accomplish something when we are in difficulty, there are 6 different ways. One is called you make peace with the other person, you make peace with the situation. This is called sandhi. Second is you actually declare war. You fight for what you are looking for, and that's called vigraha. The third one is you actually create a strategy and you move in the direction of fulfilling that. It's called yana. I'll plan and go for it. Another is you wait for an opportune moment to attack. It's called asana. The fifth one is you look at the enemies or opponents that you have and you cause dissidence in them. Then individually, it's easier to handle them because united we stand, divided we fall. So if you put a dissension among them, it's easier to overcome them. It's called Dvaivi Bhava. And the 6th way is that you take the help of someone strong. It's called Samshraya. Ashraya, Samashraya. Samshraya means to take the help of someone who is strong. So Kabandha is suggesting that Ramachandra make friendship and take help of Sugriva. And Kabandha then ascended into the heavenly planets. So now, armed with this information, Ramachandra and Lakshmana are now moving further south and southwest, or south by southwest, towards Kishkinda. So some of the commentators say, why did Kabandha not recommend the name of Vali, who actually is more powerful than Sugriva? So we understand later that Tara also advises Vali, make friendship with Ramachandra, not this animosity that you have towards Sugriva. But he did not take her advice. Plus, Vali did not have a mood of service. Of course, Vali was more skilled, more stronger. But what Ramachandra is looking for is not how much skill one has, what ability one has, but does he or she have the mood of service? Because with that mood of service, the Lord can empower anybody with any ability. Even the smallest of creatures can become empowered. Like we hear, right? Mukam karoti vachalam, pangu langhayate girim, yat kripatamaham vande, Shri Gurum Dinataranam. So while following dharma, for one to follow dharma in challenging situations, one may think, oh, I wish I had more strength. I wish I had more money. I wish I had more abilities to face the difficulties in my life. That's not what's required. To follow one's dharma in all circumstances of life, what we need is the mood of service and the grace of Sri Rama. So that's where the story of Kabandha ends, and now they are on their way to Rishyamukha mountain. And I want to pause here and see if you have any questions or comments or any thoughts. Because now, after this, when we meet next week, they will come into the ashram of Shabari. And I want to make sure that I dedicate enough time for glorifying Shabari Devi. So it's not today. But let's see if you have any questions or comments. Okay, someone has their hand raised. Atulya.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Prabhu, on this point about Lord Rama empowering anybody with any kind of skills and power, and he only looks for mood of service. So what would then, how do we go through the material world or material life? Should we then not, or it could be easily misunderstood as to not, even study, because we just cultivate mood of service and that's it.
Yeah. And I think our definition of mode of service needs a little adjustment. Mode of service does not mean knowledge is not required, money is not required, facilities or abilities are not required. Mode of service is the gateway through which these come as blessings. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Ashu Vairagyamcha. So Janayati means from bhakti, these take birth. So Jnanam, Vairagya, Dhanam, abilities, Paurusham, everything come from the Supreme Lord. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Purusham, Paurusham cha. What's that? Rasoham apsukaunteya prabhasmi shashishurayo pranavaha vedeshu shabdekham paurusham nrishu. I am the ability in man. The mode of service is the medium by which that grace is received. And so one may say, what is the grace of Sri Ramachandra in my life? Grace is not some abstract thing like an electricity that passes through us. Grace means the very tangible ways by which we can continue our bhakti without worry, without anxiety, without fear. So money, education, facilities, abilities, a warm house, warm friends, all are tangible manifestations of that grace. Now, other people also have these things, and that is also tangible grace upon them, but either they recognize or they don't recognize. And if they do recognize, then their bhakti can begin. If they don't recognize, those end with time. Antavanta ime deha. They end because they are karmically brought and taken away. So it's the same thing, just the vehicle on which it comes. For most people who don't have bhakti as their means of sustenance of life, then the grace comes on the vehicle of karma. So it also goes away. But for devotees, the vehicle is bhakti. In fact, Krishna is the vehicle. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. He carries and brings to the devotees. So it doesn't mean other things are to be shunned. We know that when things come, how do I know what I've received from the Lord is imbued with His grace? Is along with the ability and the facility, there is the sense of detachment from it as well. Jnanam Vairagyam cha. Vairagya means, and our great devotees have shown it to us. That, take Prabhupada, for example. He had nothing. He was very happy. Then he became very opulent. Very opulent. Still, he was very happy. But when the facility was not there, he lived in a very small hut, even when he was very opulent, in a very simple, humble state. Still very happy. Great devotees like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj, this one, that one, have great facilities. They're happy. When the facility is not there, they're very happy. Regardless, their state of happiness and service is not modified by or influenced by what they have and what they don't have. But the goal is not the facilities, abilities. The goal is service attitude. And these things only become facilitators.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Very clear answer. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Here's a text from Shama Gopi. Thank you so much. Okay, Sri Ram Katha. Okay, you're welcome. From Kabandha and Lord Ram's dilemma of hope the other person fulfill their part of the promise. But then ultimately, Lord only took the first step of trusting Kabandha and cremated him. It is clear that the quality of faith, born of the mode of goodness, is missing in demons. But the Lord demonstrated that he even trusted demons' words. Yes, that is true. Very good point. Ramachandra, by nature, is Purva Bhashi, means he talks or he greets others before others can greet him. And part of Ramachandra's nature is that he is very, very trusting, very trusting. And that trustingness comes from a sense of innocence. The Supreme Lord is very innocent. Now, as he is very innocent, he is also very tricky. All qualities exist simultaneously. But in this case, the sense of trusting, if you take Ramachandra's pastime right now in this episode as an ordinary human being going through the travels of life, then in order to get something, somewhere a person has to trust others. Otherwise, if one is this doubting Thomas, one can't get to what they want. So it is said, actually, even in modern research, there is this idea that actually trusting others is more beneficial than distrusting others. Of course, it doesn't mean you become blind, but the idea of trusting others makes it easy to move through life. Just the way we go to the post office, we send a package, we trust that they will take. We sit in an airplane, we trust that the pilot is not drunk, we trust that the plane is working and it's in good shape. We can go from place A to place B. We trust that the car that we are working, that we're going to drive is engineeringly done well, so it's not going to just have problems. We trust in generally. It's good. And so Ramachandra showed that trusting others to get to one's goal is proper, and it's also human to do. So yeah, you're right. It's missing in demons because the demons have in them a sense of not being trustworthy, so they cannot trust others. Okay, next one. Anyone else? Parama Karuna.
Yes, Prabhu. Yes. So there were two questions. Since you answered this question about trusting, from your answer, it seems like that it's like a blind trust, more or less.
Blind trust. What's the other one?
The way you're explaining the answer is like it's a blind trust. Like, okay, trust it. If there is no room for an intelligence question or anything, hey, just trust him. Do it.
No, he's saying, he narrated the whole story and gave credence that he previously was cursed by a sage. He satisfied or pleased Lord Brahma. He was also blessed by Indra, although punished, but later blessed by Indra. He's narrating. So Ramachandra is taking into account. Later, many people ask, why did Ramachandra not make friendship with Vali? Even Vali will say. But here, because Kabandha gave recommendation to join forces with Sugriva, because one may say Ramachandra never knew Vali. So why did he trust in Sugriva and not Vali? The answer is because a heavenly angelic person said, make friendship with Sugriva. So it's not blind. It is very, very informed. Only thing is, Valmiki does not spoon feed everything. The reason for such conversation is to tell us that Kabandha is trustworthy and he's helping me.
Yes,
So
Prabhu,
it's not
it
like,
makes sense. It makes sense. But I'm looking about the life of sadhaka, uh,
okay.
where brother, many people try to give. Of course, the answer will be like we should have one authority or one mentor. But let's say uh, the person asks, "Wait, trust this and do it." Then is there any room for intelligent question that why should I do it? For example, spiritual master, let's say, or a mentor, say just do it. It's good. And there is a verse in Badurya Kandamini, Dhavan limittivanetra, nas khalet na patetiha. Means even if you walk with the blind eyes, like covering your eyes, you will never trip or never fall down.
Right.
So how can we understand this situation in the life of sadhaka?
Sadhaka is supposed to walk with the eyes open because the implicit faith is still developing. If I just overestimate my extent of faith and walk with my eyes closed, I will trip. However, a person who implicitly follows Guru, uh, they will not be ultimate failure. There won't be any failure because that verse is true. But it depends on one's faith. The sadhaka's faith is still developing. So we have to use the faculty of intelligence and seek a proper understanding. Even Arjuna, taking the position of a sadhaka, is asking, why are you asking me to fight? Why are you saying Buddhi Yoga is better? And then you're asking me to fight. Up until the point where he says, Sarvametad Ritam Manye Yanmam Vadasi Keshava. Up to the point of Sarvam Etad Ritam Manye. Everything that you say, I accept without any questioning or doubt. That takes time to get there. It took 10 chapters for Arjuna, meaning it's the progression of a sadhaka. Up until that point, on this side of anartha nivriti, doubt is one of the anarthas. So asking is not a problem. Ramachandra is not unintelligent. He's the most intelligent person just by how one is speaking, what words they are speaking. He can capture their heart. That is their special ability, his special ability. Even as a human being, he knows. So
Mhm.
his intelligence is not shut off. He's hearing every word of Kabandha is speaking and extracting whether his voice, his speech, his thing is all trustworthy or not.
Okay. It makes sense. And we can stretch this long. But anyways, I have a second question, which is a very short question. Um, when you quoted this verse, Janati Ashu Vairagyam, does it come? I'm sorry, it's not related to Ramayana, but there was a debate going with one of devotee who was traveling with me in the van. He's like, okay, Janati Ashu Vairagyam, it should come immediately. I don't know, it's a gradually. So he was quoting this verse. Then Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoja Prajita. That immediately should come these things. What is your opinion or what is your view of looking this verse?
Uh, the Ashu has to be understood. The answer is true. It very quickly arises. Ashu means quickly. Now, quickly, we understand it the same way, where we hear that just by once chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one's fear goes away. One very quickly becomes eligible for Vaikuntha. So the answer to that is yes, it is true, and it has a prerequisite, a qualifier to it, that one should chant with faith. Bhakti yoga prayojitaha. The pra in that yojita means engaged. Prayojita means very thoroughly engaged. For such a person, ashu, it comes very quickly. So the speed at which jnana and vairagya manifest depends on the intensity of one's engagement in pure devotional service. Yatha mam prapadyante. So what to proportionately. That's what it means.
Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu.
All right, here's another one. I have a question. The 6 ways you mentioned to get a task accomplished. Friendship is one of them. Is that not considered duplicity? Making friends with someone to get something out of that relationship isn't pure. It's not talking about purity. It is talking about moving through life. The principle is not so much extracting from each other. The principle that needs to be understood is that in life, one absolutely cannot accomplish everything on one's own. We need the help and assistance of others. And as others assist us, we assist them. In one sense, this is dadati pratigranati, giving and taking. We take help and we give help. In fact, Rupa Goswami says this is how friendships among devotees, priti lakshana, these are all the indicators. Now, one can be selfish in it and be selfish and not just take and not help, not give. Then anyway, that relationship cannot be based on love. There's nothing wrong. The two lines, let's not try to converge. What Kabandha is saying is, in the matter of accomplishing someone's task, there are 6 things that one can do. It is dharmic to take help of others. Nothing wrong. We are giving it a devotional flavor that, yes, taking help, no wrong, but giving is also important, not just taking. If it is only taking, then the friendship doesn't remain pure. If it is only giving and not taking, even then friendship is not pure. It has to have both, give and take. That's why Rupa Goswami says dadati and pratigranati. Otherwise, he would have just said dadati and said priti lakshanam for relationship. They must be give and take. But it's give and take with mode of service. They're helping each other. I don't need anybody in my life. Is not a principle to live by. Here's a nice quote Shama Gopi is saying. She heard from Dhanurdhar Maharaj say, sooner, how quickly will you get the results of bhakti? Sooner than you deserve, later than you expect. Very nice. All right, anything else? Okay, nothing else. Thank you. And see you again next week. Hare Krishna, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman ji ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.